What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you so much. I hope you're having a great week so far. We're going to see that sun at 23 degrees of Virgo. We are going to see the moon in Capricorn make that trine in the evening. And, there's some other stuff going on here, so why don't we just pull up the chart and look? Sun at 23, it's definitely a high level, a high step of Virgo season. It's Mercury ruled, it's a Mercury day, and we got Mercury here in shadow in Libra. So I think today is just like a hyper focused day of really trying to understand how we relate to reality, how we relate to other people. And Mars is intensifying that, of course, still at 00 Libra. And also trining where Jupiter and Saturn came together on the solstice, December 21st, 2020. So today seems like an extremely critical day of our reality, but not just our reality, of like really trying to make sense of the pure connections, the right connections, the relationships that we need to harvest, trying to find the beauty in life and trying to come to some understanding. And I think we have to realize that we can all win together. And that might be the greatest message that just came through, is like we can all win together if we choose to. How do we identify with that? And especially with Mars here now in the non-personal sign of Libra, it's our first like good look in 2 years now, really, of trying to identify and maybe become some sort of peacemaker with people in our life. And I think that this can come down to so many different aspects of our reality right now. You see so much divide when it comes to political parties, or people who just want to follow the science, or people that want the freedom to have control over their own body. And it's very interesting. We're having to, I think, realize that we're all so similar as humans, and we're all just trying to get by in this physical world, and we might have to try and relate on a higher level, and like really see the beauty in the other person's opinion in our life. And this could be relationships with your lover or your friends, or just somebody at the grocery store. We got to try and that's why Mars doesn't like Libra. We have to kind of get out of our own identification of this reality today and like really take a good look at the other side. And that would be where I think we could find the harmony, is if we're able to at least detach and be objective. So it becomes this sort of objective Mars here in Libra instead of a very subjective identification. The easier, the more you can relate to people right now, the easier it's going to be. And that's extremely difficult to do, while still holding the line for justice. Hold your truth, be authentic, and be yourself. You don't have to give that up by any means ever, and you never should, in my opinion. Hopefully you feel the same way. But to still just, look at another human as another divine being, and as another beautiful soul that's trying to make it in such a heavy and dense world that we could be extremely picky of, and trying to have it all figured out. I don't think we can have it all figured out. I think we're meant to go through the experience, and but we get astrology, which can give us good advice like this to like help us get through a day. And it's interesting, Mercury's really not aspecting much. It's kind of getting close to the trine to Jupiter, but Mercury's such a small planet, I give it like a 3-degree orb, so I don't think we're really feeling that yet. However, Jupiter's a big planet, so we are sort of working on that trine over to Jupiter. And I think this is where intuitively we can really expand upon our connections, both with our linear mind and our non-linear mind, and come to some sort of conclusion or truth based on how we can create some sense of connection and some sense of understanding. It doesn't have to be like a full-on like, okay, yes, I will do whatever you want me to do, but just like, all right, I get it, like that's your truth and your experience, and I can understand that because you know what, at least I see my vision, and I see the beauty in that, and you know what, I see the beauty in your vision as well. So I think there's a lot of that. And we do have Venus here in Scorpio at 5 degrees, and it's going to come to 6 today. So we are really starting to see this Venus Saturn square ramp up, and that's getting much more intense. I think we really feel that today. And this is where you can find out where you're blocking yourself from love and intimacy, or what brings you a deeper beauty and value to life? And are you letting the outside world and society and people just completely take you out of your happiness and love? And, this can bring up fears around relating to people. So it's very interesting. We have so much about relating to people and trying to understand people, but yet we still have this big fear around what other people are doing. And I think that that's one of the biggest blocks with this Venus Saturn square is like, just get back to love, get back to what makes you happy and brings you the deeper sense of value and emotion in your life, instead of just letting society get to you. But try to relate to it, disconnect a little bit. And that's the beauty of Aquarius and the beauty of Jupiter and Saturn there right now, is sometimes we have to detach and get objective instead of just being so subjective in our emotions or our feelings about what's going to make us feel good or make us feel wanted or needed or attracted. Like, we just have to see the beauty and work through that. And I think that it's a good lesson to go through, because we can make, big decisions about choosing fear or love right now. And it's interesting, I see people online, and, I kind of fall in this category a little bit too. Like, I've said it in the past, like, people have asked me, like, would you date someone who got the jab? And it's like, geez, I don't know. And, looking at this square with Venus in Scorpio, it's like, would I really block myself from love if there was a connection there and somebody got it? Like, I don't know. It's a good question, but these are fears, right? That we can all create. So that's just one example from my life. Like, maybe you have some from your life, and that's something that we're trying to work through right now, is getting through fear of happiness and love because of stories or beliefs or what we think we have the answers to. But do we really have the answers yet? Or is it just based around some sort of projection of where we think the fear is going? So I think today is very important for really, having compassion for other people. And we are going to see the moon here get really close to Pluto, and the sun's within 1 degree of the trine to Pluto, and the moon's also going to make a nice sextile over to Neptune. So I think, having structure around compassion is important in our personal lives right now, as things are getting intense emotionally, and we can have deep desires about what we want to create and what is a stable sort of reality in our life, and who's in it, and are we scared of people for something we don't know anything about yet. And, that goes for people that got the jab too. Like, they could be scared of people who didn't get it. And I think that it's important to remember, like, love, and that frequency as well as we come into Libra, because yes, it's air, but it is also like that connection of relationships, and getting the sextile to Neptune is like, we need to find some sort of reality and some sort of structure based around unconditional love. And maybe that's the greatest way to escape fear with the moon on Pluto, is to just like stop putting up so many walls in our life of what's going to bring us the deeper connection, the deeper merger of what could bring us beauty in life, over a lot of things that I don't think we have the answer to yet. And we can try and go into the future and predict exactly how that's going to look. But maybe right now is just a good time to, really take a step back and see what's going on with people, see what's going on with the reflection that we're getting back from people. So to like pay attention, like, because where we see that reflection, if we don't like what we see, maybe that's our own personal block that we do need to identify with. And Mars in Libra could be a great teacher for that, especially with the reception with Venus. Like, if we can be open to looking at that mirror and, taking a deep look, we might find where a block is at as we see Venus start to square Saturn. So, and the moon will square Mercury. So there's a lot of, Mercury day, there's a lot of like, there's Mercury action going on, I think there's a lot of things that need to be spoken to, and a a lot of decisions that need to be made about our own inner security. And if we're just projecting, you know, insecurities out onto other people, or if we're actually taking the time to relate and see the beauty in people in our life. Very interesting, but we'll see where today goes. I think it's a great day to, take authority for what brings you the connection that you want in life. And I think we can make good decisions, but we can also be in our head a lot today and like have some, strict way of how life needs to look that blocks us from beauty. And I think that it would be, important to try and get rid of those blocks if we can and transmute that energy into a more loving, balanced, and, fair and just way for everybody to kind of coexist in this very divided reality. So, also very interesting, it looks like Newsom, the governor, is going to keep his position in California. Very interesting. Maybe he did win. I'm recording this at 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday evening, so I don't, it looks that way. It's very, I just want to pull up like Neptune at 21 degrees of Pisces. Well, it was there last in 1858, and we see bleeding Kansas with Neptune at these same degrees here. I wonder if I can highlight. Yeah. And what's the first thing that comes up? Oh, pro-slavery and anti-slavery free staters, free thinkers maybe. So it's interesting to see where we're at in terms of where Neptune is now and where it was last time it was there. And of course Neptune was in this area for the presidential election, which definitely has a lot of questions around it. Doesn't really matter, but it's just fascinating to look at the cycles and the history of the astrology, and of course that's what we do here, and we try to relate it and see where things are going. So I mentioned too the Mercury shadow. I feel like it's gonna be taught. It's not, even if it's over, and you know what, if he wins, he wins. I think that's part of the fears too. It's like, oh, another side that I didn't want is gonna win, and I need to be scared now. Like, we need to stop that. In my opinion, we gotta just transmute fear. We gotta transmute something in life that's taking us from the true essence of our beauty, and to not, worry so much. And I feel like today can have that sort of like worry on our mind, even though we have a deep desire to move forward and alchemize beauty in our life. And I think it's a great opportunity for that as we're going through this week. So thought I'd pull that up. It's just interesting. We live in a very interesting reality right now, needless to say. So it's kind of fun though. It's kind of fun watching what's going on. At least that's the way I'm looking at it now. Instead of getting worked up about these things, I just transmute the energy and, try and be the best I can be spiritually and physically, and do, things that can try and help people and try to, be some form of inspiration to others in my life, whether it's here on this YouTube channel or on Instagram or in my personal life, just to bring some sort of positivity and light. And maybe that's, a really good message for today too, is it doesn't have to always be, getting upset over the great show that we're kind of witnessing in reality, because in a lot of ways we're just kind of observing. And maybe that's another lesson that Jupiter and Saturn, especially Saturn, is teaching us in Aquarius, is how to observe reality without getting so emotionally attached to it. Because if you get so emotionally attached right now, it's going to take you into really weird, strange places. So we have to learn to watch and make sure that we keep our hearts open. Love you guys. Hope you're doing well. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I don't know about that card. I feel like, what's really coming through with this? I feel like there's great gifts in this physical world, but it's just such a heavy, weird reality right now that we can feel like the gifts aren't showing up, or the things that we want to get started are just lagging. And I think we have to keep a positive mindset and use our strong will and our strong soul desires right now to keep pushing in a direction that we feel guided towards, that we feel like we were brought here to do. And if you feel like you're, in that calling, and you're really working towards something that your soul is pulling you towards, like, we don't want to give up today. I think, there's something about today, which I don't know if I mentioned it in the chart, but of course it is the trine between the sun and the moon and earth. And we want to remember, with that positive note there, as this card comes up, that we can start things still. We can build. We can mold and shift our reality. We don't have to get lost in heaviness. And, that alchemization of maybe that understanding and using it to relate and have compassion and be open to a lot of different possibilities is maybe the trick, when maybe today's one of those days where it's feeling like we're stuck and can't get the gift. Maybe, I love this card. This deck does have some beautiful Rider-Waite illustrations, but it's almost like we're getting handed this gift and we're like dropping it. So there's a gift out there. We just have to be objective enough and not super attached to what it's going to look like, so that we can use it to benefit us. And I think that any lesson that shows up today is that sort of aspect of life. And it's like you can take everything that life and the divine throws at you and learn how to transmute that and see the light in it. Even if it looks dark, it's actually trying to show you the light. And you can use that light to benefit and grow and bring in new abundance in your physical reality. I love you all so much. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this horoscope, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.